The Mountains to Sea Trail stretches nearly 1,200 miles across the great state of North Carolina, crossing mountain passes, countless rivers and streams, and weaving its way through the heart and soul of the state. Walking across North Carolina on the Mountains to Sea Trail will not only lead you to unspeakable natural beauty, but to many communities across the state that embrace the trail and celebrate those who walk its path. But the MST is more than just a path. It is a community in itself. We hike it, we bike it, we paddle it, we build it, we maintain it, we advocate for it, we love it. We are the MST. The vision, the foundation, and the growing partnerships of the Mountains to Sea Trail have been set by those who came before us. By Howard Lee in 1977, giving a speech at Lake Junaluska that set in motion the idea for a trail that would go across the state of North Carolina, from the mountains to the seashore. By Jim Halsey, with putting pen to paper and dreaming of a trail for all user types across the state. And today seeing the fruits of his labor as the trail continues to grow and gain popularity. By Alan DeHart, carving his way across the mountains, writing guidebooks, and advancing the dream of a completed trail across the state of North Carolina, and creating the Friends of the Mountains to Sea Trail organization to manage and oversee that progress. By Jeff Brewer, who managed the Friends organization from his dorm room, worked side by side with Alan, and continues leading a trail maintenance task force in Segment 10. And by Kate Dixon, who worked tirelessly during her tenure with the Friends of the Mountains to Sea Trail to create and bring to fruition the Coastal Crescent Route through some of our most amazing natural resources on the east coast of North Carolina. They are the MST.
We've mostly concentrated on, trying to make this connected trail. And sometimes, that may be just like this really narrow corridor. In a grand scheme, I wish that the whole state would take it on as a way to really connect to just a connected conservation corridor across North Carolina, so that it's not just a trail, it's a wild connector where you also walk into towns. It feels to me like this is just the most incredible group of people, and new friendships being formed, and the just like chatter you see on Facebook, that it's turned into more than just, it really is a community of people who do so much together and appreciate each other.
As the trail and the communities surrounding it continue to grow, we look to those who continue to lead the charge in building, maintaining, and advocating for the trail. Betsy Brown started as a volunteer for the Friends of the Mountains to Sea Trail organization and continues to foster her ever-growing trail family and looks ahead to a bright future for the MST.
And to have this ability to make these connections with folks across the state, if it's a mayor in Elkin, or if it's a newspaper in Nags Head, or if it's, any of this stuff, there's something that draws people together for this wonderful common good project. And it's the ability, again, selfishly, I can go to Burgaw and I'll have a friend, or I can go to Boone and there's 10 people who would shuttle me. It's just such a really great way to interact with the world and people.
Ben Jones is the current architect for the Mountains to Sea Trail, and more specifically, the Coastal Crescent Route. Ben takes great pride in forming relationships with communities in the eastern part of our state and designing amazing spaces along the MST for all of us to enjoy.
I've been connected to these projects, or at least in some capacity, for 4.5 years. But in the scale of developing a trail, that's just nothing. And it's just now starting to crystallize in my mind that these things are lifetime, generational projects. I may not see the fruits of my labor in a lot of these locations, but when I do, I make sure to celebrate it and recognize just how rare and special that is. There was one day we were out, we had volunteers working on the trail in Roseboro, and we were laying bricks. And it was hot. There was this group, these 2 Hispanic women with their kids in strollers, who were pushing their kids. This was on like a Thursday. like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And they walked by, and my first thought was, man, I can't wait for these people to not have to push their strollers in the street anymore, and they'll be able to use this new thing that we're building. And this is what we're doing it for. These are the people we're doing it for. And of course, 1 hour later, they walked back by and they came over to us and they thanked us and they gave us a bag of cold drinks that they'd picked up at the pharmacy or the gas station or whatever. It just solidified for me that what we're doing is important and to keep doing it.
I said, Ben, you're in the exact same position that I was in 50 years ago or 40 years ago. With a concept and an area and trying to work with people to explore that feasibility.
I have felt ever since Kate has left, in a lot of ways, I'm carrying that torch. I feel a certain sense of responsibility to stand up for and represent these towns, these communities, and these places. It's nice to see that we're not alone in that and that other people are starting to see that value. And one of the things that's most special to me, and I kind of come back to this a lot, is that when you bring design and people and resources to a place that wouldn't otherwise have it, it changes you and it changes the way you see your purpose. Because what I don't want is us to be satisfied. I want us to really strive to be as impactful as we can be. Because I think that's how we take our organization and our trail to the next level is, we should aim as big as we can, and we shouldn't be satisfied with maintaining the status quo. There's nothing wrong with the status quo, but we have an opportunity right now to do something that we haven't ever had an opportunity to do before. And so as far as I'm concerned, we need to strike while the iron is hot. That's how we'll get new members. That's how we'll get new volunteers, is when people say, whoa, I want to be a part of that. These are the places that we have an opportunity to form and shape. And we're capable of doing that. And it's not complicated. It just requires intention. And that's what design is all about. And that's why bringing design to places that don't have it has such a big impact. Because without necessarily more resources, but just thoughtful and intentional design and effort, you're able to turn the same amount of resources into something much better. If we can make a parking lot beautiful and inspiring, we're doing something right. And that's the goal, right? Whether it's a trailhead kiosk, a parking lot, a bridge, a boardwalk, we don't have to be satisfied with it just being functional. It doesn't require a lot of extra money, it just requires intention. And we can look to nature to inspire that as well. I'm just excited to see what happens when we continue to build these first few projects, because then we'll have something to point to. And I think it's going to totally change the dynamic there. We'll be going from a place where there was no culture of trail and not necessarily a lot of interest in trail, to suddenly people feeling like this is our new identity. This is our new way forward. Yeah, I'm just excited that we have an opportunity with state parks funding to really do something impactful. It sounds silly, but I think it'll be interesting. One of the indicators of our success will be how many non-hikers are out there taking selfies on the trail, right? Like if we've built a place that's cool enough for people and special enough for people who know nothing about trail to want to go and be at, then we've succeeded. Because we want to bring more people in. We don't just want the people who are already hikers to come enjoy the MST. We want to make everyone a hiker and make it a place that you don't want to miss out on. And I think for a lot of people, they look at the mileage, how many miles of trail have we built, or how much money do we get to build miles of trail. But what I'm excited about is how many special places can we create where someone can go with their kid and show them, what the natural world really looks like, or where someone whose wife or husband has cancer can go and they can clear their head and feel better, and where people can feel, at home and like they're a part of something bigger than themselves.
Brent Lawrence, the current executive director for the Friends of the Mountains to Sea Trail, envisions hikers of all types, families, local communities, businesses, and volunteers taking advantage of the MST and seeing the trail as a vital resource now and for many years to come.
So this stretch of the MST we're sitting on is a spot me and my kids found very early on in the COVID pandemic. We came out here, I think it was late March, one of those early weekends, and didn't see a single other human, just us and the trail. So we walked for maybe a mile and a half in. There's a little lake spot where me and my kids just kind of sat and enjoyed ourselves, enjoyed the space. It was very peaceful and quiet. And we ended up doing it for 8 or 9 weekends in a row, just me and my kids. And we started packing a lunch and making more of a day of it, and started telling the kids that this is the Mountain Sea Trail, and the white blazes are, the markers. And then they would get really excited about, wait, I could walk this all the way to the oceans this way and all the way to the mountains this way? And I was like, yeah. Like, can we do it now? I was like, no, not today, but one day. So they got really excited about it. And it's just really, really just kind of became such a peaceful place for us to be in that really trying, difficult times, right? Their schools were closed. Everything was going crazy. And we could just come out here for a few hours on a weekend day and just like connect with with ourselves as a family, and then with nature. And it's really meant a lot and really meaningful. And as I say, I always knew about the MST, but like that's when we fell in love with the MST. And so it's just really a special place for us. I'm lucky to step in an organization where I have real support, and it's not just on my shoulders. And I think that's so far been a relief in so many ways. But one of the main things that this first year entails is we got this money from the state in the budget last year. That is really a transformative investment opportunity. It's millions of dollars to state trails, and starting to put that puzzle together. That's going to help us buy land where we need to buy land, or get trail easements to access land. And state parks asked all the state trails to create a 5-year plan. With this state money, what does 5 years from now look like? What projects do you hope to entail? And then sort of at the end, they want us to sort of create this massive priority list of projects. And working with Ben, our priority list ended up at 42 projects. So there's a lot of work to do. And a lot of it is going to be moving into spaces, like you said, where in southeastern NC, and for example, where we do have some trail, and there's roadways that connect the whole thing, obviously. But how do we get access to some private land that we need to make these vital connections? Where it might be, there's 2 tracts of land where if we acquire access to them, either via easement or purchase, it could open up 12 to 20 miles of trail, right? Which would be amazing to kind of get folks from road walking to off-road trail of that length. But how do we get there is the puzzle. It's working with landowners to, in some ways, sell them on the vision of the MST. And that's going to be the hard work in a lot of ways of the next 5 to 25 years. So I think that's really exciting. And then through that, can we then start harnessing that enthusiasm and building a stronger base of support in the communities in that part of the state as well? It's sort of the if you build it, they will come theory. I think with the MST in a lot of ways, the excitement is this partnership opportunity with land trusts, land managers, counties, municipalities to make these projects happen. Because it's not going to be just us. It's going to involve a lot of hard work and a lot of great partnerships. And I think you look at success stories in a place like Elkin, where you've seen a town that embraced the MST and their vision of it, and they put their own vision into it, right? We didn't, it was a partnership. And I think, can we translate that sort of a relationship and partnership to other parts of the state where we can get a town or a county to really embrace the trail and really help us make it a reality in these areas? And I think Roseboro is a great example. We're seeing that happen. The mayor, Alice Butler, there is one of our biggest champions, and that's a big reason why we got this great project going on right there. That's where a lot of the excitement is. That's where a lot of the hard work lies, though, too, is building those relationships, building the trust, to help folks see that the MST is a real asset to their community, not just from outdoor recreation, health, the health benefits of it I think are well known, but also it can be an economic driver for a lot of folks, where you start getting more and more people walking through your town or walking by your town. They've been on the trail for days. They might want a place to sleep, a place to eat, helping local restaurants and local businesses. So I think that's sort of part of that vision as well. Bringing more people into the organization, I think, is a really exciting priority for me. I want to get more young people involved in the organization. I think you see a lot of young people out hiking the trail, but to kind of get them to sense that it's not just this path in the woods wherever they live in the state, but that there's this really awesome organization behind it, and they can help trail maintain or become a member and help support it monetarily. So I'd love to see that happen as well. I want people just to understand how exciting and unique the Mountains to Sea Trail really is. I think it's these little pieces of it that people come out and enjoy that are just part of this really exciting treasure that tells the story of North Carolina. If you walk it either all the way through or just in sections, or you go out for a day trip, it really just encapsulates this beauty of North Carolina, both geographically and topographically, but also the people of North Carolina, right? You're gonna meet so many different people, whether it's people that have lived in the mountains all their lives, on the beach all their lives, or people that moved to Raleigh, 3 years ago from Ohio. Hopefully that can translate somehow, that opening a new bridge, opening a new stretch of trail is this great community resource and community asset, but it's also just a small part of this much bigger, I keep calling it a treasure, but I don't know what else to describe it. I just think this is this unique and amazing thing, and I just want that story to be told.
And the trail is a fundamental place in my mind, part of human nature, right? The trail is a place where we can go to aspire. We can go to have a challenge to overcome. We can look for a place to get in touch with our fundamental human self. And I mean, that is such an important thing that we take for granted. And to be able to provide that for people, knowing the impact it's had on me, it's pretty amazing. In doing that, we're making our communities stronger. We're making our people, our citizens more resilient. I just can't wait to continue doing that.
It will hopefully be as much off the road as it can possibly be, but it will never be, a strictly wilderness trail. It's never going to be, just all in the woods, but it's going to connect to like these amazing cultural spots in North Carolina, and it's going to give people that live here and people who come visit a way to experience our state in a way that just, driving through it doesn't give them. You slow down and you really can absorb the feeling and the flavor of a place and learn from it, but just continuing to create something that's really special for North Carolina and for the people that participate in building it and hiking on it and making it a reality.
We're seeing it succeed today because it was the right thing to do at the right time, and enough people have seen the dream, bought the dream, worked for the dream, lived the dream, that it will continue.
But the one thing that you can do is to not only be involved in helping to make the trail better than what it is. Many of us in this room won't live long enough to see the MST reach its ultimate completion. But that's not the goal. The goal is to set an example so those who do live longer than us will be inspired to move forward.
I'm Jester.
And I'm Austin.
And we are the MST.
Hey there, I'm Jennifer Farr Davis, and I am the MST. And so are you.
I'm Kate, and I am the MST.
I'm Jim Halsey. I am the MST.
My name is Brew.
My name is Gus. My name is Charlie.
And we're the MST.
I am Ben Jones, and I am the MST.
I am Kiefer Hikes, and I am the MST.
My name is Tara Dower, and I am the MST.
We are Girl Track, and we are the MST.
Right on.
Woo! My name is Alice Butler. I'm the mayor of the town of Roseboro. I am the MST.
My name is Susan Levy. My child name is Kansas, and I am the MST.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you until we meet, and then happy trails to you until we meet